Well, good day. This is Chuck Cameron from OCTV. The program is My Life. And today we're sitting here with Mike Phipps in a great place, Lakeville Station. So, Mike, first of all, thanks for making a few minutes to talk with us about your life.
Absolutely.
And could you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Lakeville Station? How long you been here? And how did you end up getting this place? And then we'll jump back to the earlier part of your life, please.
January 17th or 18th, January 18th, 2025 was our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I have a wholesale meat company. So Louis was the former owner. It was
Sure.
Louis Food and Spirits.
Right.
We sold them wholesale meats, produce, all their food items for the menu. Anyway, Louis and I was the delivery man as well. So we struck a relationship up.
Mm-hmm.
He was at a point where he'd like to retire.
Right.
I let him know I was interested, and quickly after that, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a quick turnover. He was when he said he'd like to retire, he meant it.
He really.
Yeah. So ran it by my wife, my partner here, and she agreed. It's good, close to home, makes sense for us.
Yeah.
It's the community we live in. So we bought it, and it's been 2 great years. The community seems to have embraced us, and it's been a lot of fun so far. It came with a great staff, so and great clientele. So
That's
it's kind
excellent.
I would buy it all over again, over and over.
Got it.
For
So
sure.
you called it Lakeville Station.
Yep. Wanted to. The people around here seem to be they're very proud of the Lakeville roots.
Yep.
So we thought that made sense, and after we ran through 1,000 different names,
I'm sure.
Lakeville Station is what we voted on, and it's been well received.
It seems to have caught on. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying being here. Let's take you back, if you would. What was life like for you growing up as a child? Where did you grow up? Did you have any brothers or sisters? And what was it like to be in your home when you were a boy?
Yeah, I have a sister, April. We grew up in Sterling Heights. Went to Stevenson High School. All Utica community schools, and what it was like, pretty normal, I would say. Mom and Dad worked, dinner around the table every day at 5 o'clock kind of thing, and we was normal American lifestyle, I would call it. Nothing too exciting to report on that end.
Did you and your sister get along fairly well?
Yeah. She's a couple years older, and she gave me hell from time to time. But
that's the first time I've ever heard this story.
Yeah, I would say she's ultimately my best friend.
You're a lucky man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she local now, or has she moved on?
She's lives in Warren.
Okay.
Her husband's a Detroit firefighter, so
Got it. Okay.
they live closer to where he works. And
Sure. So what was Dad like, and what was Mom like at your house when you were growing up as a boy?
Good question. Divorced family.
Mm-hmm.
So stepdad with a doctorate, hard working, traveled all over the place.
Right.
A very educated fella. He was definitely the guy to go to with help for the homework.
Mm-hmm.
And my real father was always a steel worker, and we worked hard, and very loving and God-fearing. And Mom she's a good mom, doing the best she could, for sure. She worked hard as well, and went back to college late in life and got her master's degree.
Really?
I think probably into her early 40s, she got her master's degree, and that's just how that went.
Good for her.
Yeah.
If you had to say something you learned from your dad, something you learned from your stepdad, and something you learned from your mom in your younger years, what do you think those things might be?
My mom always taught me to finish the job.
Finish the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, my stepdad, always taught me that I could fix anything as long as I tried.
Wow, that's
He's not always right,
right.
but I tried.
But it's a good
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
My real father, just very loving and very much family. It's what he was always promoted, and how important family was.
Excellent.
So good values from all three of my parents.
Are these three still with us?
Oh yeah,
Good.
yep, happy and healthy.
You see them much?
Yeah. My real father lives real close to me.
Oh, that's nice.
We see each other quite a bit, and my mom, my stepdad, they're further away. I don't get to see them as often.
Got it. Okay. So that's you as a boy. What did you like in school? What did you like to do? Who'd you hang around with? And were there teachers or others, maybe counselors, that maybe influenced you, pointed you in a good direction, or helped you get out of the mud from when you were young?
In school was not my bag, for sure. I wasn't amazing at sports by any means, so I leaned more towards the performing arts,
Yeah.
theater, and things like that. And, I did well and had a good time with that. Did a few plays, this and that. It was a nice time, but I didn't take school as seriously as I should have.
Yeah.
Wished I would have. I was more interested in work. Started working at a real young age.
What did you do?
The first thing would have been washing dishes in a restaurant.
Sure.
I started doing that at 14 years old, and I always worked. I went and worked in a steel warehouse that my dad worked in as soon as I got my driver's license. No, actually before that, I started doing that at 15,
Okay.
washing their semis, and like I said, I was very interested in making money. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Any way that I could. I was staying busy. I got to turn that off, or it's going to happen again.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah. So yeah, school. I should have. Like I said, I should have probably worked harder there. But
So you got school and you got work. Got it.
yeah.
The money you made, was it for anything in specific? Did you have hobbies or anything like that you wanted to spend it on?
I really wanted to live on my own.
Got it.
Was really the.
Got it.
And I don't even know what drove that, as much as that it was just I don't know. It was something that maybe my father had instilled on me, and to have your own independence or something like that. But I definitely wanted to get out and do things independently. I don't know. That was at a very young age. I had leased my first apartment at 17 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Lied about my age. They didn't care.
No.
And no, they
As
didn't.
long as you're willing to pay the money?
Absolutely.
Yep.
As long as I could make the rent and the income was there, that was all we're concerned about. So.
Got it. Next, you're going to be. How'd you get out of high school? You graduated from high school.
Yep.
Did you do anything after that?
Yeah, I went to college.
Okay. Well.
I have a couple associate degrees in business administration, and I took some culinary classes. I spent the majority of time going to school to be a paramedic,
Got it.
and completed that and decided it was not for me.
Got it.
And at that point, I did a few odd jobs throughout there to lawn care.
Sure.
I kept always going back to restaurants, and ultimately ended up in the restaurant business.
Yeah, there's a theme.
And where I kind of excelled.
Yep.
And
Well, let's do this. Let's take a break, and we'll find out a little more about that next phase when you get to be an adult and jump into the crazy world of adultness.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned. You stay tuned. Thanks for watching Lakeville Station. Stop by. Y'all come back.
I used to think news is news. It's all the same, but it's not. There's a big difference between local broadcast news and cable news. See, local stations are part of my community, connecting me to local news, weather, and sports on every device. It makes sense. Get the news from the people I trust who actually live here. No agenda, no bias like on cable shout shows or social media, just facts. For news I can trust, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text TV to 52886 today.
Okay, so you got some schooling. You did some paramedic stuff, but you said that really wasn't the sweet spot for you. That didn't turn out well. What was it about that maybe didn't work? Do you know?
Yeah, the tragedy involved, you know,
Yeah.
that's just, you know, if the first time you see an injured child, or,
Yep.
you know, that's not,
That's hard on the heart.
things you can't prepare yourself for,
Yep.
you know, just a couple awful experiences doing it. It was not,
Uh,
it wasn't something I wanted to make a lifestyle out of, for sure.
Well, it's good to know which paths not to go down.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah,
you found
yeah.
one of those.
Yeah, I could have saved a lot of money on that education, but I guess it's good to have the
Yep.
good to have the know-how and you know, CPR and all that kind of life-saving techniques. But yeah, it's you know, and I'm happy to help, but I don't want to do it as a daily job, for sure.
Have you had any opportunities since then to practice CPR or to do anything that is
Yeah.
first aid like?
I have, for sure, and it was a story far too tragic to tell, quite
Okay.
honestly. Yeah, it ended up with you know, a trial by jury, and a fellow went to prison for life.
Okay.
Yep.
I
for
won't
sure.
dig too hard then.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a very unpleasant story.
We'll let her roll.
For sure.
Oh, okay. So now you're liking this restaurant world. You seem to enjoy it.
I do.
What about it do you think drew you initially, and what about it keeps you slogging today, which is a bunch of years later, right?
Yeah, 35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my other restaurant, Oxford Tap's been open for just about 25 years.
Yep.
And we opened it. It was 28. So, I think it's food brings people together.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, coming, like, even my family, we got together over meals like most families do.
Sure.
But I always made an event of it. You know, it was, you know, cooking all day, and everybody was in the kitchen and being together.
Yeah.
Of course, there was beverages involved, which made it more exciting.
I've heard about
for
that.
the adults, you know. But it's always been about the food, you know, and that it came easily for me because of you know, all the men in my family cooked.
Okay.
You know, my grandmother, she's awesome. You know, I mean, it was just, we were a foodie kind of people, without question. You know, I didn't realize it as much, but you know. Even now, family gatherings are you know, they're about what we're going to eat that day, typically. You know, that's
Lots
it.
of good food.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have when you're preparing for the family, do you have something you specialize in, something you like to make?
Well, my family gets irritated with me if I don't make chicken wings.
I see.
Yeah,
I've heard of.
I try to not make wings at every gathering because you know, but otherwise it's awkward if I don't, because they're all quiet and wondering where the wings are. But I do. You know, I try to like, I'll experiment with different things because they're going to be nicer to me than anybody else if it's not any good.
They will. They'll tell you true.
Yeah, most of the time. Well, you can just tell by they just don't say much if it's not very good.
Yep.
You know, well, I like the barbecue, you know, stuff like that, slow smoked stuff. You know, it's fun for me. Yeah,
So the food brings people together, and you like the people together part too.
I do.
Excellent.
I do.
All right.
Yeah. I like to feed people.
So you're out of school. You're into work. What were your first jobs in the restaurant world where you did more than just wash dishes?
I started waiting tables at a restaurant called Roger's Roost.
Roger's Roost?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Sterling Heights. Very popular. Definitely a destination place. Still popular. It's great. I started waiting tables there very young. My mom knew that's where we hung out as a family too.
Sure.
You know, it was kind of the local family restaurant. So I had it easy in there. We knew the manager, Doris. She got me in there and trained, and you know, it seemed like I went from waiting tables to I went to bartending school.
Good.
Because that's when Top Gun came out, or not
Oh.
Top Gun, but
Sure.
I can't remember that movie with Tom Hanks, but
Yep. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah, one of them guys.
The one with he's flipping bottles around.
Yes, I can't remember what it's called, but
we'll get it.
Regardless, it was very appealing to be a bartender as well. So basically, I lied about my bartending experience as well, and then was promoted to bartender at Roger's Roost, and then I formed a bond with the chef there, and you know, and of course my ego led him to believe that I could cook.
I see. Yeah.
So then I ended up in the kitchen because of my big mouth. Mm-hmm. And well, it turns out I could cook, So I caught on quickly, and between the waiting tables and I mentioned I worked in a steel warehouse. I ended up in a management position there. So I had some management skills, some waiting table skills, some bartending skills, and some cooking skills. So
Just came together.
that led to Roger from Rogers Roost offering me a management job, and then I really learned a lot. That was like restaurant management school for me.
Did you enjoy the management world? That's administrative.
Yeah.
As much as you enjoyed the tables and the cooking and the bartending, which is much more people connected.
The years that I managed at Rogers Roost were not. I wasn't managing. I was being taught how to be a manager.
Got it.
I had the title, but
Right.
I was learning, and while learning, basically, I was just running around and doing everybody else's job to make their jobs easier and give the customers a better experience. But that taught me how to run a restaurant.
Do you think those lessons, I presume, helped you be efficient when you started your place at the Tap
Absolutely.
in Oxford?
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot about what not to do, for sure, and learned about how to speak to people. As the job at Rogers Roost, I was a kid.
Yep.
I was a manager at 20 years old and left there at 23. So, needless to say, like I said, I learned a lot, but it was hard to command respect at 23 years old. So when opening the Oxford Tap, I was at that point 28. I had, kind of, I don't know what the best term would be, but I was certainly humbled.
Yep.
On dealing with people at that point. And,
Right.
I definitely honed my skills as far as the service aspect did, because I did step out of management and go back into the service realm and cooked in different kitchens.
Yep.
I learned quite a bit about different restaurants and how they do things. Learned under different management, what to definitely not do and somebody to look up to. I had those couple unique experiences for sure. And, I worked for Mr. B's, a big corporation there. I had a great bond with the owner there. He was maybe not the best restaurant guy, but he was a great manager. He was good to people, and people, they followed him because he was a good leader. I kind of taught him how to run a restaurant, and he taught me how to manage people.
Both sides.
And we worked well together.
What was his name?
Dennis Forbes.
Got it. Is he around?
Dennis passed a few years ago. Probably 6 years ago.
Got it.
But great man for sure. He was definitely. I enjoyed working with him, working for him.
Good. If a couple guys were sitting here having dinner one night and they got to talk to you and they said, "Yeah, I'd like to have my own place someday. What would I need to do? What would I need to learn to have my own restaurant someday?" How would you answer that? You probably have had the occasion to answer that.
Yeah, I would say that taking the opportunity to do every position, right down to the busboy, the dishwasher, the host, the food runners, expediter. Every job is key. Being the line cooks and the pressure that they're under. Knowing all those pressures makes you have a lot more respect for each position.
It does.
There's no question about it. Doing all those and learning to not just do them one time, but to actually get it to the point where you're very efficient at it. That, I think, is the key to success. Where you can, if you have to discipline or reprimand somebody, that you can actually throw your weight around to where, well, I can do your job. That's a nice angle, and it's leverage you can have.
Sure.
To put you maybe a few steps above the rest as far as doing this for a living.
Good to know. Well, if I ever decide, which I won't, to go into your world, I will know who to contact. So let's do this. Let's take a little break. We'll come back, and when we do, we'll find out a bit more about your personal life. I remember you saying something about your bride, who's also your business partner. We'll
Yes.
take a look at that and the rest of things. So
Yeah.
we hope you stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Well, you mentioned a young lady who is your partner and your bride. Talk to
Yeah.
me about how you and she met, and what does she bring to your life?
Amy.
Amy. Good name.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been married 20 years. Yes, 20 years. We met at Mr. B's, as a matter of fact. I was the manager, and too cool to pay attention to her at that point, for sure. But she's lovely, for sure. I definitely recognized that she was, really and truly, she was so pretty that I just never thought I had a chance. So my ego just went the other way and said, well, I'm not even going to bother.
She was hard not to notice.
Yeah. We ended up having some mutual friends, and I left Mr. B's, went to work at another bar restaurant called Hoops, which she frequented as a customer, and by the grace of God, she let me know one day that she was interested, which was, I didn't understand, but of course I acted on that, and we were quick to be inseparable, for sure, and things just kept getting better from that point
That's
on.
good news.
She's smart and organized, and definitely has some of the qualities I don't. As far as, like I said, organized goes, we married after 4 years or 5 years, 5 years probably of dating, and we lived together for a few years too. And we have 2 boys. I have 3 children altogether. 3 boys. Jackson is he's my 24-year-old. I have Liam is 14. Finn is 10. And we live right here in the same town as Lakeville Station, Leonard. It used to be Lakeville. Now it's Leonard.
Yep.
We live right here, and
What does she teach you? What is being married to her? What has it taught you about being a man and being a leader and being a dad? How has she changed your life? Most guys have an answer to that makes me smile.
yeah, God, I wish I had a little more time to prepare for that one. That there's always a more level-headed decision or answer.
Look at
For
you.
sure. Patience.
Yep.
That you can actually pay your bills if you write the check.
I should write that down. That's
Yeah.
a principle to live by.
Yeah, that's I could go on and on, really. Not to put her up on a pedestal, because that would embarrass her.
Yep.
It was just she was raised in a large family, and I don't know where she gets all of her sense from, but she's got a lot of it, for sure.
Excellent.
She's
Sounds
a
like
good choice in a business partner.
you're a good team.
Yes. Yeah.
What's you got 3 boys?
Yeah.
What have you learned by being a father that you didn't know before you were a father?
Selflessness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch that out for me.
Selflessness. It's obviously much easier to say when I'm now in my 50s, but it's everything is about your children. For me, everything's about my children. It's you work on gaining wealth so they have something to build on, because it's an expensive world that we live in. There's no question about that. I mean, I can't leave it the way it was left for us as kids, and I believe that they need something, besides just a great education. There has to be building blocks for them. Going back to that selflessness, though, it's it's as simple as foregoing the biggest steak, because you got a hungry teenager.
Yep.
You first.
Go for it.
It's just the simplest things in life that for me, it makes me smile, really, because there's no question I'm a better man as a father than I was without being a father, for sure.
Are you, because you're local, are you able with your job here to be at their school activities and stuff, if there are anything like that?
Yes, between my wife and I, we don't miss anything.
Bravo.
And that's our commitment. Why would we? Especially being self-employed, when you make your own schedule.
Yep.
And I'll admit she does more of the the chaperoning stuff at the school. I do it when I can. There's some trips that are I don't want to be the only guy, So I will go on some that like the field trips. I'm down for that. A lot more of them are geared towards mom, So, but yeah, we don't miss anything, for sure.
What would you like the folks who are in this community, if you could sit across the table with them casually, what would you like them to know about what it's like to own a business out here? We're not exactly in, downtown Royal Oak here. This is a rural world here. What would you like if you could tell them about what it's like to own a business in a community like this? What would you tell them?
Geez, questions I wish I had more time to prepare for, but
I'll talk slower.
I don't know exactly. No, I mean, I'm pretty grateful by the relationships that we have. A lot of that stems from school, my kids' school.
Right.
We're fortunate enough to just by driving our kids to school and picking them up every day, you form relationships like that.
Connections.
Connections, which help people know that we're not just here to serve you a shot and a beer, and that there's maybe a little more depth.
You're
to
actually
us.
people.
Yeah, as opposed to a corporation with all kinds of millions of dollars behind it. That this is us doing this ourselves, and it is a challenge every day, but we're grateful, grateful to the community, because it seems that they are happy to see us.
Okay.
For the most part, I don't think they're just coming here they're just hungry, I mean, they seem to like the place, and
They seem to like the place. You mentioned that you had a little get together at election time. You had a bunch of seniors come in here. How'd that come to be?
Because we have this private room,
Yeah.
and they could yell and shout and be themselves, and there was enough of them that it didn't have to go to one person's house, and we were happy to clean up after.
Excellent.
And it was fun to see, actually.
Adults acting like kids.
It was nice. Yeah. They were certainly behaved by all means, but
It's good.
they wanted to have cocktails and and not leave the party at somebody else's house. So
Exactly.
It was nice to accommodate.
Good. So you're willing to do that from time to time.
Yeah. Other thing, we did do a fundraiser for Leonard Elementary. And we had brought the staff in, the teachers, and had them as our servers,
Nice.
and invited the families. And it I can't remember the number that was raised, but it was fantastic. We tipped our staff and contributed some money as well.
Sure.
But ultimately, thousands of dollars were raised, and I would love to do more of the fundraisers for
Use your place
important,
for something like that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it really brought together the community too.
Well,
so
It's back to your family and being a part of things. It's
it was
it all
a great
goes
day.
in the same bowl.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us about your life. I know that you love what you do, and you love the people in your life and your team here, and it's great to have you a part of the community. So thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. So next time we'll see you on our My Life program, but for now, Mike and I say, you have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.